It took me a while to realize having a victim mentality doesn't serve me at all. In fact, it actually keeps you stuck. It stunts your growth and evolution. So, I want to talk about the three areas we tend to victimize ourselves the most, and that's childhood, relationships, and circumstances. I used to love telling my sob story about my childhood and my upbringing subconsciously because I wanted sympathy. The reason I wanted sympathy is because I just wanted to feel like somebody cared, but also because I just wanted people to view me as strong. In my crazy little mind, I thought to myself, if I tell my sob story, people will see my strength and they'll admire me. But what we don't realize is when we keep retelling traumatic stories, we're taking ourselves back to that moment when it actually happened. So we end up reliving it. Recently, I was having a heart to heart with my bestie, Jin Jin. Shout out to Jen if you're watching. And I was sharing, some trauma that I recently experienced. And when I was talking to her, I started crying. And, she started hugging me. And she said when she was hugging me and I was, continuing to tell her the story, she said my heart was beating really fast. As soon as I stopped talking about it and I took a deep breath, my heart rate went down. When we constantly retell traumatic stories, we are putting our body in a fight or flight state. When our body is in fight or flight state, that causes stress. Stress contributes to most diseases. They say most diseases are either caused by stress or made worse by stress. There was a point in time where I had extreme anxiety for an extended period of time. I was constantly in a fight or flight state. Guess what ended up happening? It slowly started to take a toll on my physical health. I would have clumps of hair falling out whenever I took a shower. I was bleeding in between periods. I would have really sharp chest pains just out of nowhere. I would have migraines where I felt like something was moving inside of my head. That's just to name a few. There was a lot of other symptoms that I had where I'm like, what the hell is going on with my body? I'm not gonna lie, I was scared as hell. Went to the doctor, they ran all these tests, and they're like, yo, you're extremely healthy. Like, are you sure it's not stress? I would get offended when they would ask me, are you sure it's not stress? Because I'm like, do y'all think this is a joke? Like, stress is not going to cause all these symptoms that I'm having. I'm to find out it was stress. And how I found out it was stress was I watched this documentary called Heal, and it broke down how stress causes most diseases, how stress takes a toll on your body and your physical health. And as soon as I was done watching that, I just broke down and started crying because that was when the light bulb finally turned on and I realized this is stress and anxiety causing all these physical symptoms that you're having. And if you don't find peace, you don't figure out how to relax, if you don't figure out how to get out of this mindset, you might end up with some type of terminal illness, God forbid. And that's when I knew I had to make a change. And that's part of the reason why I'm really big on not dwelling on the past, especially the negative past. But even outside of dwelling on your childhood trauma, you have to stop blaming your parents, even if they caused your trauma. If you're an adult, it's your responsibility to heal. You can't keep blaming your parents for why you haven't done the work. You can't keep blaming your parents for why you haven't healed. Your healing is your responsibility. You can't point the finger at your parents forever. You can, but it doesn't serve you. So it's best to just accept your childhood for what it was, understand how it affects you as an adult, and take the steps to heal and rewrite your story. What happened in your childhood will always be a part of your history, but it doesn't have to control your narrative. And I'm not saying that shit is easy because it really is not a walk in the park. I didn't heal from a lot of my childhood trauma until I was about 27 ish. That was after my brother committed suicide. And it opened up a lot of things in me that I didn't even realize was there. And I still have a little bit of childhood trauma I'm working through. So, like I said, it's not easy, but it is possible. It's really just about how much you desire to heal. I think the first step to healing from your childhood is forgiving your parents. Because at the end of the day, your parents are just humans. They're just the two humans who brought you to this earth. Somebody had to bring you. And I feel like you should have empathy for them because more than likely, trauma was passed on to them, and that's why they passed trauma on to you. That doesn't make it okay, but Try to empathize with them and understand instead of just demonizing them. As much as someone hurts us or mistreats us, we have to acknowledge the fact that there's something broken or missing in us that we allowed that treatment. There's a lack of self love, there's a lack of wholeness that leads us into these toxic relationships and situationships. I think when you have the same patterns with different people, you have to acknowledge the fact that you're the common denominator. There's something about you need to figure out. You can't just say all men are dogs or ninjas ain't. You have to acknowledge the fact that, hey, maybe there's something I need to figure out and there's something that I need to fix inside myself so I don't keep attracting these type of guys. Instead of making it about the person, focus on the lesson. There's so many lessons I learned in my previous relationship. And even though I went through a lot, I don't look at myself as a victim because deep down I knew better. Soulfully and spiritually, I knew better. And I feel like God sends us signs, and a lot of times we ignore those signs because we want what we want. We stay because of our ego. Our sense of self importance comes from being with this person. We stay because of empathy. We have empathy for this person. We subconsciously have this hero syndrome that we can save this person. I'm such an amazing person. I'm such a good person. I can change this person. I can fix this person. And we stay because of lack of self love. I can sit here and say, this person did this and this person did that. But at the end of the day, I have to take responsibility for the fact that I didn't love myself. I didn't choose myself. I chose this person over me. So instead of playing the victim, I'd rather just give thanks for the lessons I learned because obviously I needed those lessons in order to grow. And I'd rather just be optimistic about my future and just move smarter and move wiser. So, what is the definition of circumstance? Well, there's actually two definitions. One definition is the fact or condition connected with or relevant to an event or action. The second definition is one state of financial or material welfare. Now, I want to be careful with this topic because let's be real, some people are just born into better living conditions. Therefore, they have an advantage over other people. However, we have seen people who grew up in great living conditions who grew up to be irresponsible, dysfunctional, and lazy. And we've seen the opposite where people grew up in horrible living conditions, but they grew up to be responsible, level headed, and financially stable. I say all that to say no matter what you've been through, you are responsible for where you are in life. We all have choices, and the choices we make today can affect us tomorrow. Choices have a domino effect. So that's why we have to be mindful of the choices we make. Lack of self discipline, lack of self control, and even just the lack of simply being able to think about something before you do it. Those things lead to self destruction. God gives us free will, and it's completely up to us what we do with that. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully, this video was helpful. Hopefully, it resonated with somebody. And hopefully, I can crack through these damn algorithms because I feel like I've been stuck for years. But it is what it is. I'm gonna just keep doing what I love, and I'm gonna just keep being patient. And yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.
Sure. Well, a lot of us are victims too. I'm not a victim. Nothing is, I want to say the word, but I can't say it. The world is not me. I am not a victim. Right. So even when I am a victim, I take a look, okay, Diane, you're doing this to yourself. And I know that now when, like victims it's like when a kid fall down and cry and you go and help them all the time, you got to just go and let them cry for a minute and then they can get off of that, and realize it,